Here we are. It's time for me to tell you what my current favorite 10 perfumes are. Short spiel, I do this twice a year, go through my perfume rotation. That's obviously including all my bottles and any samples or decants that I'm wearing a lot. And I kind of just shortlist my, instinctively favorite perfumes. And then when I get to about 20 perfumes, I get a little bit more detailed and specific, do side-by-side comparisons and make some attempt at ranking them in 10. But I always put this disclaimer that, I do rank them for the videos. But look, this one that I've done for this video has been one of the most difficult because with some of these perfumes, when I was doing side-by-side comparisons, I was essentially doing this or that, right? When I'm smelling each of them side by side. And with some of them, I just could not decide and I had to it was almost a toss of the coin. But I've got a list and I'm going to start and let's get into it. At number 10, one perfume fragrance that I've had for a long time. It's the first Guerlain that I ever purchased a full bottle of, and that is Heritage. Mine is the Eau de Toilette. I have not tried other concentrations. I haven't worn this a lot over the last 6 months, but every single time that I have worn it, I've just been struck by how amazing the dry down is on this perfume. Some people, and sometimes including myself, the opening can be a little bit bracing. There are just a couple of harsh notes. It's part of the composition, but the dry down on here makes everything that goes before it worth it, and it is one of my all-time favorite perfumes. This next one at number 9, I don't think has actually ever made one of these top 10 list videos for me since I've started doing them. I could be wrong, but I feel like over the last 6 months, every time I've sprayed this on, it's almost surprising me that this one has been, I think this one is, of the 10 perfumes here that I'm talking about, is the oldest in terms of a release date. And I'm talking about Lagerfeld Classic. This is, I bought this probably back in 2018, so whatever version it was back then. I've mentioned this before on my channel. Lagerfeld Classic was the very first perfume I ever actually owned. It was gifted to me by one of my aunts when I was like a teenager, basically. So I used to own probably quite a early vintage of Lagerfeld. I think it was called Lagerfeld Cologne back then. Now it's been renamed as Classic. There are some slight differences from memory, but the essence of Lagerfeld Classic is still here in the current one. And I just find this to be still actually quite original. There's not anything I've smelled on the current market, that is quite this combination of sparkly aldehydes, a warm tobacco, a fizzy kind of orange note, and a bed of amber, quite like Lagerfeld Classic. Okay, at number 8, this is one of 2 fragrances that have made this list that I actually don't own a bottle of. One of them has only just been put on my wish list, and so it is from Parfums d'Empire, and I recently made a video about the brand and all the ones that I've smelled, ranking them. And it is none other than Aziade. And this is, of everything here on the list, probably the best spice, dried fruit perfume that I have smelled thus far. Before that, I was enamored with Arabi from Serge Lutin, which has similarities. But Aziade basically takes what is in Arabi and makes it even more 3D. It is one of those ones when I spray on, I can't stop sniffing my wrist. But also there might be some notes in there that would not make it a crowd-pleasing fragrance. So you have to like your spices, you have to like your warm spices. There is a bit of a pungent accord coming from some cumin. There's also cloves. So you have to like those type of spices along with the sort of the slightly fermenting dried fruits in it. But I find it to be absolutely beautiful. At number 6, the second Guerlain in this list, and I don't know if it is probably my only. There are, I should just mention, there are one discontinued fragrance in this list, and this one here, I believe, is a limited release. It might still be available. Habit Rouge Privé. This has overtaken the original Habit Rouge EDT for me. It's a winner. Like I find the additional leather and iris note to that original DNA from Habit Rouge just to be extra icing on the already delicious cake that is Habit Rouge. I think this is probably a little bit more modernized for people who might find the original to be a little bit dated. It has been around since, the original Habit Rouge has been around since the mid-60s. This got released a couple of years ago. Limited distribution from memory, but I don't know if it was also limited production. If you can find it, I recommend smelling it. So that's Habit Rouge Privé. At number 6, this is a perennial. So there are going to be some fragrances you see here that continually, very constantly make this list. And it is none other than 1740 Marquis de Sade by Histoire de Parfum. Look, it's as close as a signature scent for me as I can get. It's my most worn perfume ever since I've started recording Scent of the Day. There's not a lot I can say about it. I've talked about this perfume so much. Check out my review on it. But if you like Immortelle, patchouli, leather, dried, this kind of booziness that comes from a dried fruit accord, it's just a very sensual, dark scent. Again, not a crowd-pleasing scent perhaps, but just wonderful, wonderful scent. Original. Haven't found anything smells anywhere close to it. Okay, this is now the top 5 fragrances. This is the second and last perfume in this list that I still don't own a bottle of. It may well be my first purchase of 2025. I've made it to April and I've not bought any new bottles this year. This is Angélique Noir from Guerlain from their Art de la Matérielle line. I've just loved this one from the start. There was a long period of time between me sampling this, so I loved it when I first smelled it a few years ago, and I kind of forgot about it. Probably at that time I didn't think about buying it just because they are expensive, but having another sample, re-smelling it, re-wearing it, there's nothing I can't love about this perfume. The way Guerlain du Vanilla, but the way it's paired with those green notes in the opening, especially the Angelica, is just a beautiful combination, and one of the very rare heavy vanilla fragrances that I can wear in warmer weather, just because it's so beautifully balanced with those contrasting cooler notes. Absolutely love Angelique Noir. At number 4, another, I guess you could say, perennial like 1740. This one is discontinued, unfortunately, and that is Séville à l'Aube. This is my happy scent, the one I spray when I just want to feel nothing but joy, good memories, and just one of the more captivating orange blossom openings that you can smell. At number 3, continuing on with the trend of perennials, I have had this bottle since 2016. More recently, I was actually gifted a backup bottle of this, a larger bottle. This is none other than Chanel Egoist. This is the only Chanel in this list, as opposed to the 3 Guerlains that I have, but one that I've had for so long, probably one that I took for granted for so long, but more recently, it's also one that the more I spray, the more I just appreciate how wonderful this perfume is. It's been around since 1990. Even in its current form, still one of the better sandalwood-based fragrances, irregardless of it being natural or not. But my ideal of a sandalwood base paired with the most delicate velvety rose and all those beautiful spices, cinnamon. There's carnation coming through, a little bit clovey. It's just wonderful. Okay, at number 2, the smallest brand I have in this list, at least. It is still the best thing I have smelled, best new release I have smelled in the last 2 years. So there's nothing that's been released that I've smelled that has still topped this. This is Gilded by Eau de Bougie, still one of the best frankincense notes. Somehow they have created an olfactory illusion of smelling Aladdin's cave, all that gold in this kind of musty space that has had some incense burned in it. It kind of sort of smothers your breath a little bit in a very intoxicating way, and it just keeps getting better and better. That's Gilded from Eau de Bougie. And we've come to my number 1, one that for too long I didn't avoid. I think I just ignored this. For years and years, I just ignored this. I could see how loved it was by a big part of the fragrance community. I used to own the original of this. This is a flanker of the original. And for a long time, I just kind of ignored wearing it. In the last 12 months, I was lucky enough to be given a sample of it in its current form. And I absolutely fell in love with Dior Homme Intense. This is one of the older bottles, but I can tell you now, having tried the current packaging / formulation of Dior Homme Intense, which looks like this as opposed to this, to my nose, they smell identical. So I would happily repurchase whatever is on the market now for Dior Homme Intense. Has just become my number 1. And also with this, one of the best cardamom notes I've smelled. When I spray this on, apart from obviously the iris and a little touch of that bitter dark sort of cocoa in the background, it's the cardamom that really sets this apart for me and just pulls everything together. It is my most worn fragrance so far in 2025 and my most beloved. That's Dior Intense, and that is my current favorite 10 fragrances. A couple there that are on my bottle wish list. I love every single one of them, and it was so difficult to cut this down just to the 10, but these I would keep as long as they're available. Thank you for watching once again. Let me know what your current favorites. As always, check out my playlist with all my previous top 10 fragrances if you want. Otherwise, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.